Hello everyone and welcome back to more Fantasy Life I. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how you can duplicate any item. There's going to be a couple of things that you can't actually duplicate, but most items in the game are able to be duplicated, such as the materials over here, any of the consumables, the armor pieces, shields, tools, weapons, I believe even decorations over here. They are all able to be duplicated. Now, how do we do this little trick? It's by doing what I've been doing in all of these little exploit videos, and that's just by reloading your cross save after gifting items in the online. So if you have two versions of the game on two different consoles and you can play with yourself, this is going to be a way that you can very easily duplicate your items whenever you want. You can also do this with a friend, of course, if you don't have two versions of the game, but that's always a little trickier. So unfortunately, if you want to be able to do this on your own, you will need two versions of the game. Before getting to the actual exploit though, I do want to say some people might definitely judge you for doing stuff like this, and it might also take a lot of the fun out of the game, because Fantasy Life is very much a grindy game, and some of the rarest items inside of this game are able to be duplicated very easily this way. So it might definitely take a lot of the fun out of the grinding aspect in this, which is very much what a lot of people are just really looking for when they're playing this game. They just want to grind something out, slowly get all of the rare materials. For me personally, I don't really mind doing it. I have played this game for over 200 hours by now, and I do want to actually sometime soon have made every single item in the game. So to get there as quickly as possible, I will definitely be making a lot of use of this duplication exploit. So hate me or worship me for it, but anyways, let's go on with the video. So as always, you want to put up an online connection, but this time it's actually pretty important who puts up the online connection, at least if you want to do this as quickly as possible. So right now over here on my first system, which is going to be the one that is actually not going to reset, I'm going to be the one that receives all of the gifts. I am going to join the lobby, so I'm going to go over to my second system and put up an online room. All right, so I set up the room with my other system. We're just going to search for it. I always recommend putting up a keyword and a password when you're doing this with yourself, and when you're doing this with a friend actually, because that's just going to reduce the amount of random people that come in and might make this more chaotic than it needs to be. So over here, March, that's going to be me. I put up the code and let's type in the password. So here I am. I joined myself on the other system, and the main reason why you actually want to put up the island with the system that's going to be resetting after doing all of the gifting is because right now, if you are the visiting person, you always have to go down one piece of text over here. So it's always going to start you at review details after you gave a gift, and then you have to go down once. You have to press give a gift to someone. But when you are the person who actually created the lobby, you don't need to do that. So you're going to go over to next over here, and then give gift is going to be at the top of the options, and it should be there every single time after you get back to this menu. So let's go over to give gift. We're going to send the gift to March. There's only one person here. Last time we did something like this, we gifted the treasure grove branches, but you can see over here we can also gift items. And right now, so yeah, you can gift decorations as well. You can gift anything that you want. There's not really a limit. You don't need to do it one by one. You can gift them an entire stack of 999 if you can do that. Do keep in mind though, if you are doing this with yourself, and for example I have 615 of these live wheat, if I were to gift all 615 of them, I wouldn't be able to do that because I can't hold more than 999. And of course, this being the save file, I know that I have 665, so getting that twice is going to put me over that 999. So you'll have to do a little bit of math. But yeah, you can see over here it brings me back to this menu where give gift is going to be at the top of the options. That is the main reason why you want to set up the room with the system that is going to reset, because this way you can just keep pressing A after giving a gift. So let's go. I'll explain a couple more things. Something that I found out is that whenever you gift weapons, tools, shields, or pieces of armor, you can't remake anything that you are given. So if you made, for example, the armor upsets, that's probably a good piece of armor if you want to duplicate stuff that you could gift, because this is pretty much completed. You will never change anything anymore about this piece of armor. But if you, for example, want to gift, which is what I did, the Alibaba saw, because the actual like material requirements for this are pretty difficult to come by. I just wanted to gift like 4 of the same one, and after that I was gonna remake them, but you can't do that. So that's pretty much the only thing that you should keep in mind. Anything that you are given, you can't remake, at least not for now. Maybe that gets changed in a future update, I don't know, because it is kind of stupid. I mean, you were given a gift. I don't really know why you can't remake anything you were given. I just don't know. That seems like a pretty stupid restriction. It's like a single player game, so just let us do stuff, which is also why, I don't know, you do what you want to do with your single player game, right? Like, I don't really get people who shame others for like changing the date and time in Animal Crossing Crossing, for example, you bought the game, like it's yours. You should be able to do what you want with it without being judged like too hard or like getting kicked out of communities or something because people are like, dude, you are doing cheap tricks with your game. Like, you know, you should do what you want to do as long as you are having fun. That's what matters most. But yeah, anyways, let's get to probably the most exciting things that you can duplicate over here, such as the treasure grove saplings. I actually already had, I believe, around 80 of these when I first started doing this. I haven't even been doing it for that long, so I just gave myself 10 more and I maxed out on these. By the way, Leafy 101 made an amazing video telling you how you can get these treasure grove saplings normally, so I definitely recommend checking that out if you don't want to do this duplication stuff, but you do want to get these treasure grove saplings quickly. But yeah, let's say for example you made a really good dish that buffs your gathering by even more than this 100 over here. Like, you made some insane dish that requires you to make it with some insane materials that are hard to come by. You only need to make like a couple of those and then you can start the duplicating. So that's, for example, something you could do. Just make a really good dish, start duplicating it until you have 99 of them. That might be something helpful. You can also duplicate the shadow carrot seeds. They are kind of hard to come by. And then for these other items, you might want to like duplicate crit 8s if you have that, or like the berserk potions, because I know these are actually quite hard to craft. I believe I got most of these by like mysterious slate rewards, I think is where I actually got these 43 from. I haven't yet duplicated these. But yeah, anything that you can see over here you can duplicate. I definitely duplicated the elixirs. This is a very good item. And then let's go over to the materials. These are definitely the hardest things to come by, especially if we go to some of the lower ones over here. Like if you filter by like 5-star ingredients, for example, these are only going to be 5-star ingredients. I know for a fact that you can only get top class mushrooms by gathering them somewhere, so this is definitely something that you should duplicate if you want to do the duplication stuff, because it's pretty hard to come by. And then just logical thinking, yes, you want to duplicate these sultan hearts, you want to duplicate these fish, you want to duplicate everything, especially the treasure grove specific and like exclusive items such as the great lucky bream over here, the Poseidon swordfish. These are treasure grove specific or exclusive. Definitely hard things to come by. Any of these materials, the wicked mandrakes, I've already done a ton of duplicating on this because I'm planning to put these inside of the cashnut stalls. That's going to be the quickest way to get cashnuts, definitely. Over here, all these rare item drops, but don't limit yourself to only doing it with 5-star materials, because believe it or not, there are some 1-star materials such as the fossil shroom here, for example, that is really hard to get. The only way to get fossil shrooms, from my knowledge, is to pick them up inside of the like West Drawridge desert region. You can't buy these anywhere, I don't believe, so these are actually pretty hard to come by, so you probably want to duplicate stuff like this as well. There is one important thing that I should tell you guys, and that is that you cannot gift the legendary items. So I don't really know why you can't do this, but yeah, you can see that they're grayed out, and if you select them, it says this item cannot be given yet. So I don't know what that yet is all about. Can you give them in like the next update, the DLC that is coming around? But in any case, right now we cannot give the legendary items. For all of the other materials though, you will be able to gift them, so it's only the legendary ones, such as the Dawn Horn. I know you probably might have clicked on this video just to figure out whether or not you could duplicate the Dawn Horns. No, you will have to actually grind these out yourself, so I don't know, I kind of like that. But yeah, enough blabbing, let's actually start duplicating some stuff. So how is it gonna work? Let's just give myself the ancient cores here, for example. I'm gonna give every single one that I have. And there we go, we sent over the gift, and on my other system, I received the item. So you can see on the screen of the other system that you actually receive it. Then you just want to keep pressing A over here until you come back to the gifting screen. And you probably just want to go down to the bottom of the materials list, start giving out all of these items. Just say yes, all right, you're gonna be connecting. Really doesn't take that long. You give a gift again, go onto that person you want to give it to, items, go back here, just go down to the bottom, give all of this stuff. You basically get it. Like, it's pretty simple. Once you have like about 10 of a certain item, the duplication like stuff is gonna start to go real quickly. I do kind of recommend, if you want to do this duplicating, like try grinding out the bosses until you have around 10 of their rare drop, because that's when it's gonna go really fast. Like if you only have one item to begin with, you're gonna have to do this duplicating quite a bit, because you will have to gift these items. After that, of course, you have none left, so the process is gonna be gifting the item. After that, when you're done with all of the gifting, you want to end the session. So on the Switch, that is just pressing the home button. That is gonna prompt a communication error, and then of course you just want to go back to the title screen, load your cross save. You're gonna get all of your items back. Then you have to set up the online again, join the online again with the other system, and then you have to start doing that stuff all over again. So if you only have one item to begin with and you want to start duplicating that, it's actually gonna be pretty slow to start. So that's why I recommend actually taking down the bosses until you have a pretty high amount to begin your duplicating with. But yeah, that is basically going to be it. If we check my items over here, I am still of course gonna have all of the stuff that I just gave away because we just reloaded the cross save, so I didn't lose any of those materials. So let's switch over to the other system who received the gifts real quick. So over here, of course, we had the communication error. Don't worry, you won't have lost all of those items. If you go to this one right now, you're gonna see that I have 80 of these dark tree barks, 96 of the dark tree sap, and then I believe I gifted like the yeah, these ones over here, the ancient cores and the quetzal treasures as well. So yeah, as I said, you want to get a pretty decent starting amount because right now I went from 9 to 18. If I do this duplication glitch one more time, of course I'm gonna go from 18 to 36, and then it's gonna be 72, 144, whatever it is. Like, you know, it starts getting higher exponentially, so it's gonna be way easier starting with a higher amount opposed to starting with one of the item that you want to duplicate. But yeah, with that is basically going to be it. As I said before, everyone plays this game the way they want to. You shouldn't feel ashamed because you're doing this. If you don't like the grind, or you've just already spent a lot of time on the game and you're like, I still want to play the game but I don't feel like going inside of the treasure groves until I finally come across one of the dragon tree wings again, I need to do the whole floor, and I need to do that like 20 times because every recipe in the game requires some drop from that dragon tree. So you're just like, all right, I'm gonna start duplicating because I still want to play the game but I don't want to do the insane grinding anymore. You shouldn't feel bad about it. You just do what you want to do. I just want to get this video out there to tell you guys that this is something that you can do. Also, in my opinion, this is definitely still something very different than just hacking the items into your game. If this was the very same thing as hacking items into the game, I would definitely just be hacking items into the game because that is so much easier than doing this. Like, this is still, believe it or not, a pretty big grind. Do you know how many rare materials there are in the game? Like, yes, it is absolutely insane if you are getting all of those naturally without using any exploits, but it is still crazy if you want to start duplicating every single one of the rare materials. It takes so unbelievably long. But of course, if you think differently about that, that is perfectly fine as well. But with that, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, definitely don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Not even 5% of the people watching my videos are actually subscribed, so I would appreciate it a lot if you would do so. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, later. Bye.